Hey chess masters, Coach Sipho here, and this one is for those who are saying, I'm always working hard on my chess. I study day and night, but I don't see significant results on my chess. My rating is not going up. Instead, I just lose against people who are not as dedicated to chess. In fact, I lose to people who are not even studying chess. So what should I do in order to improve? Well, I do feel your pain because I used to experience the same thing. I used to study chess like 5 hours or more per day. I was so obsessed about studying chess, but I didn't see much results. And my friends used to laugh at me that, wow, Sipho, you are always studying chess, but we always beat you. Now, my chess only improved after I discovered these two principles I'm about to share with you. So without any more delays, let's dive into it. I guarantee you that if you follow and apply these two principles or these two secrets, you will see significant results or improvement on your chess. So let's share these two principles. Principle number one, or secret number one, there is a big misconception from a lot of chess players. They think that in order to improve, you need to acquire more and more and more knowledge. To them, it is like the more knowledge they acquire, the stronger they become. The more knowledge they acquire, the stronger they become. Even though there is a certain truth to that concept, but it is not really true. You can acquire a lot of information, but improve only a little bit. Now, what should you do instead? I recommend focusing on the thinking system more instead of focusing on acquiring new information. How do I know this? Because I know almost every new student I have. I coach my students usually once per week like that. And whenever I visit them at their homes or online, they would ask, so what are we gonna learn something new, Coach Sipho? Those things. So they always want to learn something new. They think they will improve the more they learn something new. But it doesn't work like that. Focus on the thinking system instead. Now, what is the thinking system? The thinking system is an organized way of thinking. That means when you play chess, you have a system. You know after the opponent's move what you should think about and what you should do. Step 1, this is what you think about. Step 2, this is what you think about. Step 3, you make a decision. Okay? It is an organized way of thinking. If you play a game and you lose a game, then you need to go back to your thinking system. Analyze that game with your chess coach, or if you don't have a chess coach, maybe you can use a chess engine. The chess engine will let you know where you went wrong. Maybe you made a blunder, like in this position. We're about to deal with this position now. Then after that blunder, you need to think what you should have done differently from the way you played. And then you need to adjust and refine your thinking system so that you don't do a similar mistake next time. For example, those who watched our previous video or our latest video have seen this position. I'm sure you are familiar with this position. In this position, Black made a sad move or a sad blunder. Black played, by the way, Black is material up in this position. Black has 3 minor pieces. White has only 2 minor pieces. So Black is a minor piece up. So even though Black is winning in this position, he made a very big mistake. He played Knight G3. After that move, White played Rook E8 check. There are 2 ways to get out of this check. You either take with a bishop or with a queen. If you take with a queen, the bishop is no longer, remember the queen is defending the bishop. So if you take with a queen, the bishop is no longer defended. It would be a checkmate since the bishop is controlling the light squares, the queen is controlling the dark squares. So you cannot really take that rook. You cannot really take that rook with the queen, since the bishop will be left undefended and you will be checkmated. So what if you take with the bishop? The problem with taking with the bishop, it blocks the queen's view of the f8 square. Now the queen will just go to f8 or g8. Both moves are checkmate, because the bishop is blocking the queen, and the queen is no longer defending these two squares. So it is a checkmate. Now, most players, okay, let's go back. Most players usually go back maybe to their coaches or maybe to their parents and say, I was winning, coach or parent, but I just made a silly mistake. My opponent was so lucky, or chess is so unfair. That is why my opponent won. It was luck. But it was not luck. The problem was in your thinking system. You should not say your opponent won by luck, but look at your thinking system. How can you improve your thinking system? So on our latest video, we're like how to avoid losing positions that you are already winning. So what I would improve on my thinking system, I would be like, before making a move, make sure that the opponent does not have a forcing move that will hurt you. So every time now when I'm playing in my future games, I would say I want to go there. But before I go there, can my opponent check me? Can my opponent, the forcing moves? Can my opponent check me? Can my opponent capture one of my pieces? Can my opponent make a threat that will surprise me? So I wouldn't play that move, because I would think about that move. How would I deal with this check? And I would notice after bishop, there would be queen checkmate. And if instead I don't take with the bishop, I take with the queen, there would also be queen checkmate. So that I improved my thinking system. So with this game only, I improved my thinking system so that on my future games, I don't make similar mistakes. So my overall chess will improve now, because I won't be losing because of those mistakes. Okay, so let's take one more, just a simple example, another way of improving your thinking system. Let's say white plays here, black plays here. This is a normal opening. White plays here, black plays here. Now let's say I'm just gonna make, okay, this move I know is not good. We should take the bishop out. I'm just making that move, and I will also make a bad move for black because I'm trying to push a point. So let's say now white plays that move and you play this move, saying Coach Sipho said in the opening I must develop my own pieces. So this is what you learned, right? On your thinking system now, you know you should develop pieces in the opening. So you play this move, and then your opponent takes the queen. You end up losing the game. And then you go back maybe to your coach or your parents. You say, I just made one mistake and I lost the game. No, you need to refine your thinking system. Why did you lose like that? Refine your thinking system and say, okay, now on my thinking system, every time my opponent makes a move, I'm going to spend some few seconds or minutes thinking, what is my opponent attacking? If I notice that their move is dangerous, then I'm gonna solve the problem. So you won't do this only to this game. Every game you are going to play from now on, you have an organized thinking system. When the opponent makes a move, you always spend some time. You think, what is my opponent attacking? So you will never lose a queen again. Remember, we also learned from that the previous position, that puzzle. When black played knight g3, that was a blunder. So you will also add it on your thinking system. Before you make any move, you need to think about the blunder check. Will my opponent make a move that will hurt me? You see? So you will keep on improving your thinking system. Looking, checking if the opponent's move is dangerous. That might be step one. So now, every time the opponent makes a move, is it dangerous? What my opponent is attacking. If it's dangerous, you solve the problem. And then you can also think about other things based on your thinking system. But you know the last step, whatever move you want to play, you need to apply the blunder check. I want to play that move, but will my opponent make a move that will hurt me? Does it make sense? So now I just gave you a copy of my thinking system. Always asking what is my opponent attacking. It's actually my step one of the thinking system. Looking for the blunder check. Let's say I'm about to make a move, but thinking, will my opponent have a counter attack or a move that will hurt me? That is the last step of my thinking system. Okay, so there are also some steps in between. I'm sure your own thinking system, you also have some few steps, so you keep on improving it. Our thinking systems are never the same. They will always be different. Okay, so that is the first thing. Improve the thinking system. Okay, someone might say, okay, Coach Sipho, you are talking about tactics, but what about the types of centers? For example, we once learned about the types of centers. So how do we apply such information to our thinking system? Well, let's go to any position. Let's say in this position, after e4, e6, d4, d5, e5. So this is the French, the advanced variation of French. And if you learned those types of centers, I'm sure you notice that this is a closed center because the pawns in the center are all blocking each other. Now, according to my thinking system, notice again, my thinking system is always the same. White's last move was this one. But let's say I was playing white. After black's last move, I would ask myself, step one, I always ask, is my opponent's last move threatening anything? Is it dangerous? Yes, it is dangerous. Black is threatening to take the pawn and my pawn is undefended. Okay, you see I'm applying step one. Step two of my thinking system, I might also share it. I don't react. I look for my own forcing moves. Do I have a check? Do I have a capture? Do I have a threat? Yes, I do have a check, but I notice it doesn't work. It won't lead to anything after c6 or bishop d7. So this check is not helping me. Okay, so I do have a capture. If I take, my opponent can also take. I'm not winning anything. So all my forcing moves don't work. So step one, I look if my opponent's move is dangerous or not. Step two, I ignore my opponent's threats. I focus on my own counter attacks. Okay, I'm just sharing my thinking system now. If my thinking system don't work, if my forcing moves don't work, then I focus on my opponent's threat again and I try to defend it. Since my opponent's move was dangerous, so I'm going to solve this problem. I have some options. I can play knight c3 to defend my pawn, or I can play knight d2. It is also defending my pawn, or I can play e5, saving my pawn. You see? Now, let's say I'm playing black now. If I'm playing black, I would be like, white, just play it pawn e5. Step one, is white's move dangerous? No. You see, I won't lose a piece because I'm always applying step one. Step two, do I have forcing moves so that I don't lose opportunities just in case there is a tactic in the position? So I do have a check, but in just a second I can see it doesn't work. So that check doesn't work. I don't have a capture. I don't have a threat. So step one, I applied. My opponent's move is not dangerous. Step two, I don't have forcing moves. Step three, what is the plan? I learned from the types of centers that when the center is closed, What do we do when the center is closed? We attack on the side. You usually attack on the side of the board where your pawn chain is facing. Black's pawn chain is facing on the queen side. So you are going to attack on the queen side. What exactly on the queen side? You want to demolish this pawn chain. So you attack the one at the back. So I want to play, because I know how to play positions with the closed center. Okay, let's say you learned from those videos the closed center, you attack the base of the pawn chain. Do you play that move right away? No, you don't play it right away. Remember, according to the thinking system, you don't want to make a move and the opponent shocks you with a move that will win the game. So even though you want to play this move, you don't play it right away. You apply the blunder check. Now let's imagine. I'm going to play that move. Will white have a check? Will white have a capture? Will white have a threat? Yes, white will have a check. Will I be able to deal with it? Yes, I will be able to deal with it. I can play maybe bishop here or knight on c6. So that check is not dangerous. Will white have any capture? Yes, white can capture the pawn, but I will be able to deal with it by taking that pawn. Okay, so I applied all the steps, and I also applied the last step, the blunder check. I know now that my opponent won't make a move that will hurt me, so I will play the move. White will also think the same way. Is this move dangerous? No, the pawn is defended. Okay, do I have forcing moves? Yes, I do have a check, but it is not dangerous. Black can solve that problem easily. So do I have a capture? Yes, but black can take, so I'm not winning anything. So my forcing moves don't work. Now the next step would be, this is a closed center. How do I play positions with the closed center? I need to protect the base of my pawn chain, so I want to play c3. Do I play c3 right away? No, think about the blunder check, okay? Like that and that. We can go on and on, right? I can play for white, I can play for black, doing the same thing. So that is secret number one. Focus more on the thinking system. Once you learn something, think on which step can you incorporate it with your thinking system. How can you add it on your thinking system so that your thinking system improves? Okay, that is step one. Focus more on the thinking system instead of focusing more on acquiring more knowledge. By the way, this does not only apply at chess, it also applies in everything, even in business, even at school. If I'm studying like business books, I'm not always acquiring more and more knowledge. I take principles, like success principles for business, and then I always write them down. Most of these books, they might be many, but they're talking about the same things in different ways. So I'll be like, okay, this person is talking about this, that book also discussed this, even though it's slightly different, but it means the same thing. I would make my own principle. So principle number one, principle number two, okay? As you read, you're like, how can I improve my principles of success? Okay? Focus on the thinking system, not acquiring more and more knowledge. Okay, enough about step one. Now let's go to step two. Most students are focusing more on the theory and they are not practicing what they have learned. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say I just taught you how to checkmate with two rooks. And those who don't know how to checkmate with two rooks, I do have a video. Just go to my channel, go to playlists. I have all end games that every chess player should know. So let's say I teach you, you watch that video and you learn that the first thing you need to know, you cannot checkmate with two rooks in the middle of the board. You can only checkmate the king on the edge of the board. It could be up the board, on the sides, or at the bottom. Basically on the edges, but never in the middle. The first, you know now that information, you can only checkmate on the edges. Now, step one, you need to decide on which edge do you want to push the king. Let's say you want to push the king up. We've already made the decision. Now, the first thing you are going to do is to play this move, preventing the king from going to the opposite direction. This rook acts as a net or as electric fence. So the king can never go down now. Let's say it goes there. Now you always check, after building the electric fence, you always check with the rook that is at the back. We call it a bicycle mate. The pedal that is at the back goes in front. The pedal that is at the back goes in front. That is why we call it a bicycle mate. And also bi means two. We have two rooks here. They move like like bicycle pedals. Check. Which rook is at the back? This one. It goes forward. Now the rook is in danger. You see, the thinking system we learned from the previous step also works here. The opponent just made a move. Is that move dangerous? Always. You see, you always apply that step. Yes, the move is dangerous. So you can't continue with your normal plan because step one, you notice the move is dangerous. So you must run away. Check. Check. So let's say this was a video about how to checkmate with two rooks. So what should you do with that information? Should you just sit and say, I now know how to checkmate with two rooks? No. Learn the theory from the book or from the videos or from your coach. But also when you are alone, when you are at home alone, you need to practice what you've learned so that you build neural connections in your brain. You build neural connections by practicing, okay? So that you will remember this stuff during the real games. So how should you practice this? You just go to chess.com or even Lichess. You go to learn, you choose analysis. Then you go to setup position on the right hand side. Then you go on this pin to remove all the pieces. You put your two rooks and the king, and then the king. And then what you do after that, you can play against a computer. You see, you go here at the bottom. There is this option, practice. This is a computer. So I'm going to practice what I learned. I know that I learned you always choose, let's say I chose to push the king up the board. The first step is to prevent it from going to the opposite direction. So the first step is to play this rook here or this rook here. Then the computer will make a reply. You see, now I know step one. I need to think, is my opponent's move dangerous? No. Then I will carry on with my plan. I'm going to move the rook that is at the back. Check, like when I'm riding a bicycle. Now I need, my opponent's move is not dangerous. Should I move the rook at the back forward? Yes. But remember the last step of the thinking system. Before I play that move, will my opponent make a move that will hurt me? Yes, the king will hurt me. So you see, I won't lose my rook thanks to my thinking system. Because before I make any move, I always think if my opponent's next move will hurt me. So I'm gonna move far away to the other side. Computer goes there. Then I go like I'm riding a bicycle. My opponent's move is not dangerous. So you see, I don't even, because I know some of you guys will say, I don't have a sibling or I don't have anyone to practice with at home, so I won't be able to practice. Here, I'm just practicing with a computer. You can also do the same, right? And then you would play that move and it is a checkmate, okay? It is a checkmate. Now, you can also practice another end game. Let's say another stuff against the computer. You always go to learn, go to analysis, you choose setup position. Let me repeat it one more time. You always go to learn, then you go to analysis. Then after that, you are going to choose setup position. Then if you want to remove all the pieces, you can see it is written clear the board. And then you can take pieces you want and put them on the board. Okay. Or if you want to reset position the board, you click there. If you want to flip the board, you click there. Okay. So step number 2, learn theory from the books or from the videos, but you also need to practice alone with your siblings, your friends, or your parents. Or if you don't, let's say your parents don't know how to play chess, or they are always busy, and you don't have a sibling who knows how to play chess, or you don't have closer friends, you can always play with the computer with the same exact way I just showed you. Okay, so apply those 2 secrets or principles. I guarantee you that your overall chess will improve significantly. Thank you for watching this week's video, and this channel is committed to uploading at least 1 video per week. Now we're about to hit 300 subscribers. Please make sure you help our channel grow by smashing that subscribe button. Click the notification bell so that you will be notified every time we upload a video. Until next video, peace.